Hi everyone, welcome to a Reset Conference webinar. My name is Joe Jardine, founder of the Reset Group, and I'm a performance mindset coach for NFL and NCAA athletes. And today we're going to be talking about how to paint your picture, which is a great technique that we give a lot of our athletes when it comes to in-time competition. There are a few in-game and in-competition tools you can use to prime your mindset in your performance as an athlete. And one of those tools is called Paint Your Picture, or we call PYP. PYP is visualizing in your mind the result you want to achieve prior to each throw, pitch, swing, serve, play, performance, etc. Whatever it is that you're doing in your performance, that right before you do that, you could go ahead and do what we call paint your picture. And so we got to remember, when we think about positive pictures, that's successful pictures, that is focusing or visualizing positive pictures of us as an athlete performing, that's going to demand positive results, because positive pictures demands positive results in life. And you have authority over your thoughts. You have authority over your emotions and over your behaviors. No one else does. And so when you paint your picture, you are taking control of your thoughts, your emotions, your behavior as an athlete. And so when you start giving that away to either a coach or giving that away over to the competition or people in the stands, whatever it may be, is they're in control of how you feel. They're in control of your emotions as an athlete, and you're in control over your thoughts and your behaviors during your time of performance. And so circumstances, competitions, score, stats, and coaches don't paint your pictures. You do. You're in control of that thought. You're in control of you picturing you being successful. No one else is. And if you have control of the picture, you have control of your performance. And so what you cause yourself to picture is crucial. Positive pictures demand positive results. Your mindset and performance are always equal. To change your performance, you must first change your mindset, specifically at the time of competing. And so if you want a different result when it comes to you as an athlete, then what you need to do is you need to change your mindset. You need to visualize something different during the time of competition. And this could happen instantly. If you just threw a bad throw, or you had a poor hit, or you had a poor, let's say, dance performance, and you have another one's going to happen in another hour, what you could do is just even within that hour, you could change that. Even the minute before the next play, you go ahead and change that result by changing what you're picturing in your mind. And so paint your picture is one way to prime your mindset for your performance. And it comes to in time and in competition or in performance timing. So the technique is very simple. Before each action within a performance, you need to tell yourself the mantra, paint your picture. And so in your mind, before you have to perform or do the action, you're going to tell yourself, paint your picture in your mind. And when you tell yourself that mantra, then I want you to do is to visualize the play or the performance you want to have happen. And so how this looks like specifically, let's look at baseball. For example, if a batter, when he or she sets themselves up in the batter's box, will say internally, paint your pitcher. And then they'll visualize a successful swing or hit prior to the pitcher being set to throw the pitch. And so you get up to bat, you set yourself up with your stance, and right away tell yourself, paint your picture. You look at the picture when you tell yourself paint the picture, and you paint yourself the vision of you actually getting a hit or you hitting the ball well. And so the batter will do this before every single pitch. So paint your picture is done multiple times within a performance, multiple times within an athletic competition. And vice versa. Let's say you're the pitcher, and say you're the one that is going to be pitching the ball. When you're about ready to pitch and you set yourself up on the mound after you got your sign, you're going to tell yourself, paint your pitcher. And you're going to visualize yourself throwing that curveball, visualize yourself throwing that changeup, visualize yourself throwing that fastball, and exactly where you want it at, whether that's outside, inside, up, or low. You're going to literally say, paint your pitcher, and then focus and think about yourself actually doing it, and then you go. And so that's why it primes your performance, because before you actually perform, you're going to visualize the results you want to do, and you're going to trigger yourself doing the muscle memory by telling yourself, paint your picture. And so remember, you cannot think of two things at the same time. And so if you're thinking about something negative, you can't think about something that is positive. If you're thinking of something positive, you can't think about something negative. You cannot think about two things at the same time. So choose your pitcher and make sure it's a successful one. And so if all you're thinking about is you being successful at the plate, or you being successful on the court, making shots, whatever it may be, you cannot think of the opposite. You cannot think about you not making that shot. You cannot think about then the crowd, what they're saying to you. You cannot think about different noises that are occurring from the other team, whether that's them yelling at you or screaming at you, or you cannot think about the weather per se when it comes to it. And so when you paint your picture in your mind, what happens is that you are choosing to think in a positive, constructive way, but what you're also choosing is not to think in a negative way, which is good. Now, for this to work, you must practice PYP in practice. You must paint your picture in practice. And so what does that mean? Well, you literally tell yourself before each swing, before each shot, before each rehearsal, whatever it may be, is that you're going to tell yourself in practice, paint your picture, and then you're going to take your swing, take your shot, or you're going to practice your throw, whatever it may be, and you're going to do that in practice. And so this might sound very cumbersome, but you can see what we're doing here is we're creating a routine that's going to be done multiple times, that can be duplicated within a game or within a performance, which means it becomes more like you to be successful, more like you to actually play well. And so when you actually do it in game time competition and you tell yourself, paint your picture, what it does is you're awakening all the neurotransmitters, all the synapses around all the times you practice that correctly, whether it's that 10, 20, 100 times in practice. That now is being reinforced in the game. So it becomes more like you to actually be successful in that moment. And so we practice that in practice so that when you're in the game time, it awakens that muscle memory. So in high stress, high pressure situations, that your mindset will take over. The more we paint your picture and think about the picture, talk about the picture, write about your picture, the more you improve the probability of that picture actually happening. And so the more you think about it, obsess about it, fixate on it, practice it as a technique in practice, the more likely that in game time, in competition, in that performance, you actually will have that picture occur. And so every time we think about something happening, we improve the probability that it will happen. And so in closing, here's a side note. You should talk only about your good swings, your good shots, your good hits, your good throws, your good plays, your good performances to other people and to yourself. I do not want you to talk about negative swings, negative throws, negative performances to anyone else. I don't want you to do that. The reason why is because complaining is a negative reinforcement, meaning that it reinforces you to do negative plays. It becomes more like you to fail than to be successful in your performance. Same thing happens when you get angry. When athletes get angry, anger is actually considered to be a negative reinforcement, which means that it's teaching your brain to continue to play poorly or to do poorly again. And so complaining, talking negatively about your performance, and not focusing on the one or two things you did well in your time of performance, what happens is that it becomes more like you to fail. It becomes more like you not to perform correctly or the way that you want it to, and you won't be successful. And so one thing you got to recognize is that painting your picture is a way to basically refocus your mindset on what you will do and what you're going to do, and hopefully take away the complaining and the negative reinforcement. Because as athletes, something we got to start doing and practicing is we have to have something called memory loss. We need to practice the aspect of being forgetful. Forget the bad moments. Forget the bad plays. Forget the bad practices. Forget the bad situations that you had within the game that you didn't perform well. And move on to the next one and focus on the next one. Because the next one you have more control of. The next one is one you are in control of. You have more authority over your next play than you do thinking about your past plays. And so be a competitor that has a positive self-talk, that you actually have a self-talk that is positive. You treat yourself well. Have a positive vision around your performance. Be a competitor that has a positive outward talk of you and others. And this is important, is that we only want to just talk about ourselves well in positive ways, but we need to voice and celebrate other people as well as competitors, as athletes, that the more we affirm, build up, and search and look for positive aspects of other people's games, including people on our team, the more likely that we're going to see that in our own game, and we're going to become more like that. And so this is just the mindset aspect of seek what's good, seek what is correct, speak it, write about it, And what's going to happen is your mindset's going to become like that. And so practice painting your picture today. You can use that in practice, in time rehearsal, and then you're going to use it in time of game. If you're someone that has performance anxiety, painting your picture is a great way for you to recognize that you can only think of one thing. So you're going to think about how I'm going to fail and be anxious about it and be nervous about how many people are in the crowd or who's in the crowd. Or I can refocus on painting my picture and focusing on what is the picture I want to paint in my performance today. Thank you again for being part of our webinar today. If you're interested in more trainings or if you're interested in us coaching you, you could go ahead and visit our website, theresetgroup.com, and get more information there. You could contact us from that website as well. We hope you have a good day. We hope you use these skills to help you perform better in your competition.